Okay, I thought I'd just do another little garden update. I'm starting at the back garden where we've got the buttercup squash. And you can see they're starting to form. I've got a couple in here, and a little one hiding over here. They're growing out into the lawn. And that's what I like about this spot. They can sprawl down the hill and they're not in the way. The plants are kind of wilted right now because it's been so hot. I got to come and water them again tonight. I try to wait to the evening so that I don't burn the leaves. Anyway, let's take a little walk down to the other garden and see what's up there. The corn tasseled out there a couple of weeks ago, and unfortunately the corn in the middle was still stunted because of all the flooding we had there in May and early June. But the corn on the end did pretty good, and the cobs are ready to eat. We picked one the other day and it tasted really good. You can tell it's done because the silks are dry and they're brown. So we're going to be picking all this week, and even the small cobs are still good to use. You can use them in stir fries as long as they've matured. And then we're going to pull all this out, and I might try planting another patch of the same stuff. It's a 60-day, and I might have just enough time to get a picking in October. It's hard to tell. I'm hoping, you know, if we have a nice fall, it won't be a problem. And this next section here, I'm moving around the squash, is the butternuts. They've gone crazy in here. And they're bushing out into the lawn. I haven't seen any squash on them yet. Lots of flowers, though. So I haven't been walking in there too much because I don't want to break the vines. But that's why I left this big area open, so they could vine out like crazy. The yellow crookneck squash is doing great. I harvested 2 armfuls of squash off these plants just the other day, and they're still full of flowers in there. So I try to get around my watermelons over here. It's another yellow crookneck. It's just a little slower developing than the other ones, but it's coming. Now, these ones over here, the watermelon, you can see the leaves everywhere. And I had all this weeded out, but we finally got a little bit of rain this week and it shot the weeds up. But not enough to help the plants very much. The ground's still like dust. But despite that, get around here. Look, I've got little watermelons. There's 2 or 3 of them in here. This is the first year that I've grown watermelon and actually got fruit out of them. So I'm really happy about that. Normally they just never develop. I guess starting these in the greenhouse this year was a big help. But most of this area, the vines are all through here. This is my next weeding project. And we've been picking lots of zucchinis. Gonna have to try to do some cooking videos soon, show some different zucchini recipes. And if you have any that you would love to make, I would love to hear about them too. Always need ideas for zucchini, right? Loves to go crazy. A little cucumber patch here starting. Some cucumbers starting in here. Where are they? I saw some more. There's a few in here that are ready to pick. And these here are the other zucchini plants. I see some more ready on the end to pick. This row of tomatoes, if you notice, it's kind of bent looking. This was the last row that I never got out here to tie up. I wasn't feeling really good in the heat and it was slowing me down a lot. So I finally got out here, well, I guess it was Tuesday. And you know, they were all over the ground. They were growing flat. And I put the first string line up and I had to hold them up while I weaved both sides, and I did 2 or 3 rows. But because they were growing flat on the grounds, all of these, by the time I tied them up this high, were straight out like this, and I didn't want to break these going up any farther. So I left them because I knew that they would start to straighten themselves out. And now I can come along and make another string row to help support these more vertically. But they are covered in tomatoes. They're doing great. Unfortunately, I can't remember which kind these are because all those stakes got pulled out of the ground after I just planted them. But these 2 rows are all the slicers. They're a mix of reds and yellows. And some of them over there are just huge. come around this side. I just love this way of tying them up. They're doing wonderful. I'm going to double the amount of tomatoes that we plant next year and do them all this way because it's working great. The only thing I'll change is for the slicing tomatoes, the indeterminates. We're going to get taller stakes because they grow much taller, whereas my smaller plum tomatoes are just fine with these size. Now, what was it? I just saw, when I came over here, my plums are starting to ripen. These are my Heinz paste tomatoes. I see there's 2 in there. And once they start, they're all going to go. So I'm going to guess this week or next week. Yeah, I guess it's Friday now, isn't it? I guess it'll be next week then. I'll probably be canning lots of sauce, I hope. But these tomato plants, they are just loaded. I just love these plants. So I've been working in here weeding and trying to keep up. It's been so hot, so I'll get maybe an hour in the evening so I can get out here. Lots and lots of tomatoes. The kids' garden, they've had a few cherry tomatoes they've been picking already. Some of the egg yolks, the little yellow ones. So those are doing pretty good. Now this section right here looks like a great big mess, but this is the ground cherries. You can see them here. The problem is I planted them too close together and I can't get in here to weed them. They have bushed out. I've never grown these before. I didn't realize how much they would bush out, but they're huge, and then the vines or the stalks all come back and forth like this, and I can hardly get in here to weed them. So I'm going to try, but I don't want to break them. So I don't, I want to get some. So these are supposed to be ready to pick in the fall, and these pods here will turn yellow like paper and they'll fall off. So I just might have to wait another month or so. And then since the plants will be dying then anyway, I can walk on them and just pick what I need. But I'm hoping I can get some of this weeded. Little volunteer gladioli. The cabbages are doing not too bad in here. Some of them still need to be sprayed again. But there's some that are doing really nice. This one's ready to use. One of my early cabbages. They're nice and firm and full. I'm going to be picking that one. And this one. And